The city of Makati will be a beneficiary of a project, a 10-kilometer subway system.
Na final na ang kaso laban po sa Taguig at sa Makati.
Imagine a subway designed to fix traffic for over 700,000 daily commuters, then it gets canceled overnight. Why would one of the most critical infrastructure projects in Metro Manila suddenly collapse? The answer exposes deep flaws in our local government structure and judicial system, flaws that every Filipino should care about. We're in Makati, Manila's most vibrant central business district. Manila is one of the world's densest cities and notorious for some of the worst traffic globally. To tackle this crisis, the Metro Manila subway project was launched, and Makati launched its own subway.
The city of Makati will be a beneficiary of a project which is a 10-kilometer subway system that has 10 stops that will connect Central Business District all the way to the hospital ng Makati.
Set to be a 10-station subway leg, and it planned to move over 700,000 commuters daily. It was backed by powerful investors, including Philippine Infradev Holdings and several major Chinese corporations. This wasn't just any subway, it symbolized hope for Manila's economy and quality of life. I wanted to understand the significance of the Makati subway. I decided to take the regular commute myself to see firsthand. I've lived here in Manila for 17 years and I've never done this, and I've heard all the horror stories. So I'm starting at this Dr. Santos station in LRT 1, and we're gonna commute all the way down to Makati where the subway was supposed to be. And the thing is, this commute's only about 12 kilometers or 7.5 miles. And it should be a pretty easy trip. So let's see how long it takes us to get there. So let's go.
Biyahe ko ng Cavite mula Imus hanggang TAP. Natin 1 hour and 15 minutes. Well, sa bahay, kung aalis ako ng Imus, mostly umaalis kami ng 6 a.m. Dumarating kami ng opisina dyan sa Malate ng 7:15 or 7:10. Well, sa tingin ko makakabuti yun kasi kailangan talaga natin ng transportation. Kasi yun ang pinaka-importante dito, kaya nga masyado siya matraffic eh. Kasi kulang yung daanan ng mga sasakyan para makapunta sa iba't ibang lugar. Kaya nagiging traffic siya.
Ay, oo, sige, bukunin na ako kasi mas cheaper yun eh. At saka kung lalo ng mga train na yan, mabilis ang transportasyon, walang traffic. Mas okay yun.
But here's where the trouble starts. Makati and Taguig have been locked in a territorial dispute over Fort Bonifacio and the Embo barangays for decades. And in 2023, the Supreme Court finally settled it. It awarded jurisdiction to Taguig. And overnight, 3 out of the 9 crucial subway stations suddenly belong to another city.
Kaya pa ang ugnayan po namin sa Pateros, pero maski ang reply po, no, yung sagot ng Korte Suprema tungkol doon po sa petisyon ng Pateros, malinaw na bumabalik pa rin sa desisyon na final na ang kaso laban po sa Taguig at sa Makati at pinapaboran po at ibinibigay po, no, hindi lang ang BGC kundi yung iba pang mga barangay sa jurisdiction po ng Taguig.
The subway project started in 2018 and it was supposed to be completed by 2025, but then it quickly became impossible to complete all of a sudden. As crazy as this might sound, unlike many countries, Philippines local government units or LGUs aren't really required to collaborate on regional infrastructure. So there's no central authority enforcing these type of cooperations, and it often leads to these disastrous outcomes. To understand the root problem of this, I need to speak to a local expert, so I interviewed Paulo Alcazaran. He's a renowned urban planner who has been dealing with local governance problems for over 40 years. And here's what he had to say.
The problem with Metro Manila is not that it does not have political will. It has 17 political wills. Because there are 17 LGUs. Actually, they have 18 political wills if you do the overlay of national government. So you have 18 pulling in 18 different directions. They don't coordinate. I mean, we have the MMDA, the Metro Manila Development Authority. They don't have the power to force people into one room and talk to each other.
We just got off the LRT train, and it's been 30 minutes on this trip so far. We're at EDSA station, and now we gotta go get in line for the train ticket for the MRT. And it really makes me wonder, I mean, why can't advanced cities like Makati and Taguig work together for the overall benefit of its citizens? Here's where things get even messier. After the project fell apart, the Chinese corporations sued Makati for an incredible 1.7 billion US dollars. Makati settled the lawsuit for 8.9 billion pesos, or 160 million US dollars. And it came with a $30 million penalty plus interest if Makati missed the payment deadline. But here's the twist. Who covers this massive bill? Let that sink in for a bit. Two neighboring cities couldn't resolve a infrastructure dispute, so citizens have to pay the bill? Residents are literally paying billions for a subway they may never even use. And not only that, this whole case was very bizarre and some things just didn't make sense. The settlement was signed by former Mayor Abby Binay just before leaving office. And then her sister takes the new position as the new mayor, current Mayor Nancy Binay, and she publicly criticized the settlement as financially irresponsible and potentially bankrupting Makati.
Yung subway project, bubuhayin niyo ba yun? Ipaprioritize niyo?
Yung subway, kasi at the moment, meron siyang arbitration case sa Singapore. So, isa din yun dun sa kailangan natin pag-aralan. Kasi, una-una, for me, additional expense yan.
We just got off the MRT train. Altogether, that was maybe about 25 minutes or so. We're about 55 minutes into the trip. We're at Guadalupe Station, and the interesting thing is this should have been the station that connects to the Makati Subway. After 7 years, what had actually been built?
Nag-MRT po kami. Sumasakay po kami Guadalupe to top po, pinakadulo po ng station ng MRT. Minsan po maabot na mga kalahating oras kasi sobrang dami ng pasahero po. Wala pa pong Guadalupe Station dito sa area namin.
We're already an hour into our trip, and we had to go from the ferry station to the bus station on EDSA. And the walk here isn't very convenient at all. In fact, there's a lot of obstacle. The walkway is pretty difficult and very tight. And luckily today it's not raining, but it's hot. And I'm already sweating and kind of getting tired already. Guadalupe is part of the disputed territory between Taguig and Makati. And we just found out there hasn't been any subway station built in Guadalupe. So now we're going to the part in Makati where they have started building the station. And in order to get there, we have to take the bus.
Let me ask you something. What if this isn't an isolated incident? And what if this is a recurring pattern? So I started digging into some of the biggest abandoned infrastructure projects in the Philippines. And honestly, the pattern is kind of hard to ignore. Now let's walk through just a few examples. There are projects that were big, bold, publicly funded, yet somehow they all ended up in the same place, unfinished. The first example is the North Rail project. The estimated cost was around 27 billion. It was supposed to be a 100-kilometer railway meant to connect Metro Manila to Clark. It was launched in the 90s and rebooted in 2004. Originally, it was backed by Japan. Then it shifted to Chinese funding, and soon after, it got canceled. The second notable project is the Mindanao Railway. It was estimated to be about 82 billion pesos. It was proposed as far back as 1936. And again, it was revived in 2018 by President Duterte. And it was also backed by Chinese funding. But in 2023, the Philippines government withdrew its request for Chinese funding. Now, across all these projects, from the Makati Subway to the Mindanao Railway, China was a key player. And in every single case, the project was abandoned, suspended, or never completed. So that raises an important question. Why does China keep investing in Philippine infrastructure when these projects keep falling apart? So if you're interested in a breakdown of this and a deeper dive into this topic, let me know in the comments. Now that we've asked some of our questions and we've had some of those questions answered, what's next?
Today I sat down with Dinky, who was the first commissioner of planning for Metro Manila Commission. And I really wanted to get down to the solution and find out what we could have done to make this project work. When you have such fragmentation with governance, it sounds like a simple solution, like just force them to work together. But why can't we just do that?
I would have called the two mayors to a meeting and I would facilitate their arriving at a consensus.
Right.
Okay?
Couldn't the president do that?
There has not been any support to the idea of an elected governor for Metro Manila. No support from the national government. Is because I think the presidency can be won or lost by the votes for Metro Manila. Metro Manila can be a special province with an elected governor, so that there would be a system to coordinate and orchestrate the actions of these 17 towns and cities that comprise Metro Manila. I think that this would solve a lot of the problems that Metro Manila is experiencing.
With the Makati Taguig Subway cancellation, do you see that project is going to have a new life to it? Because they're talking about possibly revitalizing it now.
Well, I think it's very possible for Nancy Binay and Lani Cayetano to sit down and agree on some kind of what could be a mutually beneficial alignment.
Ngayon kayo na ang mayor. Open ba kayo na makipagnegosasyon sa mayor ng Taguig para ayusin yung mga problema?
Ganun din yun. Kasi di ba ang hirap kaya kaaway mo yung kapitbahay mo, di ba? Ang Makati tsaka ang Taguig ay magkapitbayan. So kailangan talaga namin mag-usap ni Mayor Lani para maayos tong gulo between Makati and Taguig.
Kayo mag-initiate ng meeting with Mayor Lani?
Ako okay lang sa akin mag-initiate.
Let me state for the record that I'm open to working with anyone and any group for any transportation program that will ease the plight of our commuters.
Ganun pa rin po. Simula dito, bus hanggang 1 Ayala. And then 1 Ayala to GMA Kamuning, MRT yun. Tapos GMA Kamuning bus hanggang Sandigan Bayan, and then Sandigan Bayan to bahay namin tricycle. O ano po, kulang-kulang 2 hours. Kung may subway po na going there papuntang 1 Ayala, mas okay po yun para sa akin. Gagamitin ko po.
So we're at the end of our destination, and that commute wasn't terrible, but it did take us 4 separate transits and took us a total of 1.5 hours just to commute literally 12 to 14 kilometers. Now we got lucky. First, it wasn't raining. Second, there wasn't any traffic we had to deal with, so we were lucky we avoided all of that. And a lot of people have to commute much further, sometimes 20 to 30 kilometers away, taking them between 2 to 2.5 hours each way. And that is just a one-way commute. We really need to have more convenient mass transit for people to live in such a harsh city. So now it's time to commute back home. I wonder how long that's gonna take.
Now, despite the chaos, there's still hope. After the settlement, Makati now owns the subway asset. It says they intend to revive the project on new terms. But this issue goes way deeper than Makati. But I think this story really reviews a very critical systematic issue that led to many repeated infrastructure failures nationwide. And I think what we need is stronger enforcement for cooperation between local governments. Some people say that institutions like the MMDA need more power to ensure regional projects are successful. As a real estate investor, I've seen firsthand how infrastructure shapes the future of cities and economies. Perhaps our local governments have too much autonomy, and blocking vital projects from moving forward shouldn't be an option. Guys, what do you think? How can we reform our system to avoid these costly disasters? And leave your comment below if you have any insights of why these things happen and why the system is designed as such. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into issues that shape this country's future. Let's demand better governance and build a Philippines that works for everyone.